We keep hearing little bits here and there about Puffy, and there's so much to go into with Puffy. And I know you have some really good inside scoop, but why has he not been indicted at this point? And do you think he will be?
I think he's cooperating. I think he's cooperated for many years. Listen, in the 90s, I had heard that Puffy's a dangerous guy. And I wrote about him. I knew him. I didn't hang out with him, but I knew him. We knew each other, kind of a head nod across the room kind of shit. Mm-hmm. But I always knew he was dangerous. And I knew that there are people in his wake who are dead. This is way before Al B. Shore got sick and all these people died around him. Kim Porter, his ex, the mother of his kids. I was around them or him at that time. And I mentioned to you that Kim Porter, the girl, his ex is dead now, who died of pneumonia, supposedly, years ago in New York City, maybe 2001. Her and a friend, were at a club. Remember Cheetah in New York City, that club Cheetah? Was here and there, but came in a minute. I saw her. She was attractive. We started talking. Her friend said, my friend likes you. I sat down with him. She gave me a number. And I said, she's familiar to me. I knew she was a model, but then I go, wait, you're Kim. You're Kanye's girl. I said, isn't he going to get upset that you give me your number?
You mean Diddy, not Kanye.
Diddy, sorry. And she said, he doesn't care. And I never called her, never did, nothing to do with her. But now you find out that, of course, she was seeing other people. He would watch. He got turned on by that. But then there are stories where he cracked a chair over her head because flowers arrived at the house when some guy wrote, last night was unbelievable, we got to do this again. And he beat her up, put her in the hospital, broke her arm. And everybody that worked at Bad Boy for a while, whether it was Heavy D or Kim Porter or Albie, who almost died, what's his name? Andre Harrell, they're all dead. Tupac's dead. Biggie's dead. I always heard information that Diddy was behind that, paid $1 million to have Tupac locked. I always thought that his closeness to Biggie with this "I'll be missing you" bullshit didn't ring true to me. I said, this guy wants the limelight and Biggie was in his way. I didn't think he had anything to do with Tupac because I knew who Tupac's killer was. At least I thought I did. Now they're saying that Diddy paid for it to go down. I'm not quite sure that's exactly what happened, but that's the news story. But he's
right. So in the last week, is it Keefe D? Is that his name?
Keefe D did not kill Tupac. Keefe D,
he's the one in jail right now.
Yes, and it's not him. The guy that killed Tupac, there were two brothers named Hatton, Danny, and I forgot the other guy's name, but they might be Keefe D's nephews. One of the Hatton boys shot Tupac.
And are they dead now? Where are they?
I believe one of them's still around. But for some reason, the cops, Keefe D admitted to it. He ain't the guy. I got really strong people in that field who know who it was. It was never Keefe D. But the cops suddenly, a year and a half ago, a year ago, they pull him in. He's the guy, case closed. The cops don't care about Tupac or Biggie. They don't care about black rapper.
But is the case closed? I mean, the fact that they just hired Alex Spiro. Did Tupac's family hired Alex Spiro, who's a really big lawyer in this kind of thing. This is not the first time he's done this. And Keefe D has resurfaced an allegation that Diddy offered to pay him to take out Tupac to pay him $1 million. So maybe he's talking about this in prison. I don't know that the case is closed with that. We haven't seen it go to trial. We haven't seen anything.
No, it never will. It never will. Because no, they just don't. No one cares. It's 20-something years old. It's over. It's gone. But the big issue is Puffy and how many things he's had his hands in over the years.
Right.
And I think he's cooperating, and I think he always has cooperated. That's why he's been able to. Look, you saw him spend, $50,000 for that Cassie Ventura tape. And let's talk about the fact that he possibly had that plastic surgeon killed.
Yeah. So for people that don't know, because this episode is going to come out before I had Spencer Pratt on a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Spencer Pratt is married to Heidi Montag when they became famous. They were on a reality show. But what really made them famous in the tabloids was that she had 10 surgeries done at once, from her boobs to her nose to liposuction, all this. The doctor's name was Dr. Frank Ryan. Right. Now, fast forward, so he became famous. I was going to say Instagram famous, but tabloid famous.
Sure.
Next thing you know, right around the same time, he does Cassie's breast
augmentation.
Yeah, breast job. makes it bigger. And apparently what happened is Puffy got really mad. As soon as she woke up, he said, take these out. Yeah. And wanted them taken out the next day. And Dr. Ryan said, I'm not doing that. It could kill her. And they got into a huge altercation. And I believe he was convinced to take them out. I don't really remember what the end story was. Yeah. Long story short, within a year, Dr. Ryan, who Spencer swears he knows him very well. He said he loved his dog who was in the car with him. He was texting something about his dog and he went over a cliff. Now, Spencer says to me, Rachel, I know this guy. I know this area. It's a cliff. He was coming out of his house. It is an area he's gone through every day, at least twice a day. This is not a cliff he would have gone over. He is not a guy who would be texting. This was something that went awry. He said, I don't know that whoever, made him go over the cliff meant to kill him. It might have been something to scare him, but that's what happened. By the way, the dog is fine. I don't know if the dog's still alive, but the dog lived.
I wanted to hear that. Good.
Yeah. The dog did live. So now it's resurfaced and everyone is saying that there is, this conspiracy theory that Puffy had this doctor killed because
listen, it's not that hard to have some thugs in a car or 2 or 3 cars swerve and make this guy come off the road. He's a doctor. Doctors don't get involved with skirmishes like this. If you got a couple of cars with some big tough guys that don't want to get you off the road, they can get you off the road. I don't know if that happened for sure. That's certainly a good conspiracy theory. Look, no one's going to know the answer to how many people are gone because Puffy did what he did. But we've seen enough from what's written, what Kim has written. Kim was writing a tell-all book. I had excerpts of that before anybody did.
Yeah, I want my listeners to hear a little bit about what you read because you sent it to me. I know it was on your podcast. Yeah. But for people that are not aware, what you sent to me was insane. I can't believe where people are not talking about it. Give a little bit of an insight.
Honestly, Rachel, I forget. I'm so giddied out. What was the?
So she had written in her unpublished memoir,
right?
And I think the feds have it at this point, right? I mean, I'm not.
I know a buddy of mine has it. That's how I got it. Okay. I think he's gonna try to do something in Hollywood, but I'm not sure if the feds have it. But I've seen it.
So she claimed, and you had read pieces of this. So I'm paraphrasing, but you had actually read pieces of it. She had claimed that she sort of had it with Puffy and was going to have a conversation with him. She called him over to her home. She said, it's over, and he gets very angry. But what she writes about before that is how, she was done with all the crazy sex.
Oh, the crazy sex parties. Right. I get it now.
The group stuff. I think she was pregnant at one time when she was made to have group sex. Right. And then she was there. She had witnessed when she woke up one morning, the door opening and seeing, I think it was Will Smith, seeing Snoop Dogg. Was it Snoop Dogg?
Will Smith, Snoop Dogg, Justin Bieber, Usher. She made references to gay stuff about those kids when they were younger. She'd had it with the sex, these freak out parties where people took drugs. And a lot like Jeffrey Epstein, Puffy was filming everybody. I've even heard there's a chick on YouTube named Jaguar Wright. She's was a rapper. She sang on some people. She sang with Jay-Z. She had some weight behind her. She has decided in the last few years to come out and say everything about hip hop culture. And she has said that these parties were real. Puffy would record everything. And it's even on the dark web. Don't ask me how to get there. Actual sex scenes between stars on the dark web that people pay a lot of money for. I don't know who needs to see this or what kind of money they give up to see Usher having sex with. I don't even know, but those are crazy examples of the kind of life he was living. And I remember when I was, I had a girlfriend that had a Hamptonshire for a while, and I was out there with her in the late 90s, and Puffy showed up because he knew her, and he was with J-Lo, but he was with this young girl. It was not J-Lo. J-Lo was a beautiful star, and he's with this young, obviously he was messing around with her. And I thought, he knows who I am. And he's sitting there with this young girl, and he's with J-Lo. He's obviously fucking the young girl. Mm-hmm. What is he? I was out of the business, so I didn't write about it back then, but I wouldn't have if I was, because it was like an agreement, a silent agreement. You're on your time, I'm not going to fuck with you. But this guy was very brazen about what he did. He made threats to people that are easily researched and found. when you look, Albie Shore was a good friend of mine. I haven't talked to him in years, but we used to hang out. And I'll tell you something real quick. I lived in the West Village. Albie and I were driving one day in his Range Rover one night, and through the West Village, the meatpacking districts were a lot of tranny hookers, loaded, old tranny hookers. They used to know my name. They used to tell me, Mike Tyson was here, Arsenio Hall, Eddie Murphy came. All these guys would sample the trannies. And Albie said to me, watch this. He lowered the window down, tinted windows, and he said, hey, girls. And they ran to his car. They loved him. Then he gets a phone call. He's like, Will and Jada are uptown in the hotel. They're going to have some fun. You want to go with me? You got a girlfriend to bring? I said, I'm not into that shit, man. He said, I'm going to call. He mentioned my other friend. He called my other friend, and they went. I want no part of that. And my friend, who I grew up with, told me, oh, yeah, full on swinging, full on Will's with guys and Jada's fucking other guys in front of everybody. She is so full of shit. So is Will Smith. The jig is up with them, but they're big time Hollywood people. They dabble in Scientology. They're very creepy to be around. But Albie Shore was somebody that knew everything about Puffy, and he almost died. God, I think he had his liver went. This guy was in a coma for like a month or two before he came back. And
something else that you had read out loud from Kim Porter's unpublished book was how she talked about someone else dying from pneumonia. And now I'm forgetting.
Yeah, and then she died of pneumonia. And then she died of
pneumonia.
And I've had pneumonia 3 times. I'm susceptible to it. So I've never smoked in my life, but I get pneumonia. She had nothing, not even over-the-counter drugs on her night table. Nothing in her house to take care of pneumonia. It's not a real story. She lived, where she was in Toluca Lake was like a mile and a half from my house. I drove there when she died. I don't know what I wanted to see, but I wanted to drive by the house. And there was a lot of people coming in and out the day she died or the day after. Yeah. Very sad. She was I knew her a little bit. She was a sweet person, but anybody that's involved in that kind of lifestyle of whoring yourself out for the pleasure of your boyfriend, you give him all these kids. And let's not forget Albie Shore's son was adopted by Puffy. You know what I mean? Like Albie Shore was with Kim Porter before. It's all a mishmash.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. One of Puffy's sons is Albie's son. I think it's Quincy, I believe. And he adopted him. All strange shit. It's all strange.
Wait, do you remember that whole thing where, and I'm going to get this wrong because I didn't actually look this up before we talked, but didn't Diddy adopt a white chick, a young white girl?
I heard that. Yeah, I did. That? Yes, I did. Yeah, that kind of came and went, didn't it?
Yeah, but like, what was that? Who's that? Where is she?
I don't know.
There's so much to uncover. And the more you talk about it, there's so many tentacles where there are so many people in Hollywood and not Hollywood that have witnessed stuff. And either everyone's keeping it quiet, but someone's got to crack at some point. I mean, Aubrey O'Day, is that her name?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Has said this for years and talked about it for years. There will be other people that will talk about it that aren't just looking for money and don't want to be in a, lawsuit, that really have been dealing with it in therapy.
Yeah.
Want to tell the story. So I will be interested to see how this pans out. If you hear about any other big stores.
I'll keep you abreast, but I see this ending in a Jeffrey Epstein way. I don't think they're going to see Puffy in jail. I think he has cooperated with the feds for a long time, and they know what he brings them, and who knows who's been locked up.
But if he brings them something, someone else has to go down. So we need to hear some other big scandal.
And that's what we're talking about gossip. We're talking about bartering. We're talking about cops operate that way constantly. They have informants that it's very intricate, this whole Puffy situation, really deep.
Okay.